Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Ravens YouTube channel and podcast. Talking Ravens all day, every day with your host, Justin P. My MVP co host, Miss Shannon Finch. This is episode 70 for the YouTube channel. And if you want to follow and subscribe to the show on the other channels and other, you know, I'm going to give the floor to Shannon. The floor is yours, co host. What you got for us today?
Okay. I didn't hear a lot of what you said because you was just breaking up. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Nah,
Okay.
I was just doing the intro. I mean, you can. The floor is yours.
Okay. All right. So our first topic today is what are your thoughts on the preseason game against the Commanders we played last night?
Uh, only watched probably like I watched the whole first half and I watched a couple minutes of the third quarter. You know, I gotta get up early. From what I
Hmm.
saw, Zay Flowers looked good. Came out, scored first drive. Josh Johnson looked good. Second straight week. Got two touchdowns, altogether three touchdowns on the one interception, which was a good play by a tip pass, whatever. But he's been moving the ball up and down the field, so you know, I don't know, man. He can definitely be that backup, especially if they move Huntley or whatever the case may be. I don't, if they decide to do that, I don't know. But Josh Johnson definitely looked like he could be that third quarterback for sure. Defensively, got to tighten up some things. The tackling was a big issue for me. A lot of missed tackles. The pass rush, I get it. We had our threes and fours, but we still got to generate better pass rush because, like I said, these guys are going to have to be on our roster. So if somebody get hurt, they're going to have to step in and play. So we need to see a little bit more out of them. David Ajabo, I get it. He was out the whole year, whatever. He only played two games, but you look better in the two games you played last year than you do right now. So it's like I'm not, he got to step it up. Keep going inside when he's supposed to stay outside. Just little stuff like that. Got to stay
Hmm.
disciplined. Secondary got picked apart, man. Like we made Sam Howell look like he was the next coming to Joe Theismann or something. Sam Howell's a pretty good player, but like damn, like we made him look like he gonna be in the MVP discussion this year. So we got to tighten up
Hmm.
on the back end, man. We got to definitely tighten up on the back end. Offensive line didn't do too bad. Ben Cleveland had a better showing. Josh Johnson didn't get sacked a lot, So those are my quick little thoughts. The floor is yours.
All right. So I didn't get to watch the first preseason game because I was out of town. So I actually wanted to watch the one last night. So I did. First thing I want to say is I hope Terry McLaurin will be okay. He did
Yeah,
get
yeah,
hurt in the
yeah.
game
He good.
yesterday.
He good. He good.
Okay.
Minor, just a minor sprain. He good to go.
Okay, good. I was going to say that I'm glad that we made it out of the game with no serious injuries, nothing serious, as Harbaugh said. As you mentioned, Zay Flowers. I mean, he's as good as advertised to me. We've never had a wide receiver that could get yak like he can. So I'm really excited to see that every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whenever we play, because that's something that the Ravens have lacked. And when you look at other teams, we talk about helping a quarterback out. Yak definitely helps the quarterback out. Um, the third tight end spot got really interesting to me because I think both guys performed well in the game yesterday. And it made me think, should the Ravens keep four tight ends and release Ricard or make him play defense? Like that's how well they were playing. It was just that was a battle I wasn't expecting. So I was kind of intrigued by that. I don't care what needs to happen, but Keaton Mitchell needs to be on this team. I don't care how we got to go about doing it. He needs to be on this team, particularly with JK and Gus being free agents next year. We don't know how that's going to play out. And also, he can help this year on special teams. So it's not like we're wasting a roster spot this year. He can still help on special teams and obviously be an option if something goes wrong with the guys that we have as far as the free agents, which means that um, we will probably have to cut Justice Hill or Melvin Gordon. And I'm kind of leaning towards Melvin Gordon right now, only because Justin Hill can still contribute on special teams, even if he's not the running back. Um, Talon Wallace, I think he continues to make a case to be on the team. Ben Cleveland, he was like, man, he played guard and tackle in the game. He's not doing enough to stand out to make it feel like he's like the left guard spot is his job. I don't think that he's done that yet. Um, if he makes the team, like I said, him on a backup role because the Ravens do like versatile linemen, and we're usually able to find them. So at this point, I think this is his third year. You might expect him to be a little bit further along. Like I said, he didn't. It was like, man, like I don't have anything to complain about, but it wasn't nothing to make me say, give him the job. Um, Now, defensively, it was really hard to judge. And I say that because across the board, we really weren't playing our starters. When you saw how Washington was
Yeah,
moving the ball, I saw a lot of fans complaining about the secondary. And my thing about the secondary is this is levels to this, like Meek Mill said. People are starters and bench players for a reason, right? So knowing that the guys that you expect to be your number
absolutely.
ones are not out there, it's so hard to judge them, particularly the secondary, because that's what I saw everybody saying. Like, our secondary sucks. And it's like, what do you expect with who's out there right now, right? A lot of them are still young, a lot of them are still learning. I didn't get up in arms about that. I just paid close attention to what I saw from the guys that was out there. Now, Malik Harrison, he's not standing out to me, and that's kind of an issue. We talked about this before on a few podcasts ago. Like he was just different after his situation. So I don't know if he's going to make the team. I would want to say yes, you know what I mean, but it's just disappointing when you see him playing against guys that you expect that he would show out with or against, and he's kind of not. The pass rush is still a concern. And until I see improvement, I'm not going to not be concerned about that. Like, that's a huge concern. I mean, you talked about that as well. But with that being said, it was some bright spots that I saw defensively. I told you last week that the cornerback battle or position was what I was going to pay close attention
Mm-hmm.
to on this game.
Sorry
So
about
I'll
that, but
say
still,
Adarius Washington.
it's
Can you
hard
hear me?
at times.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So as I was saying, it was even with all of that
Yeah, I can
negative
hear you.
things I just said about the defense, it was some bright spots for me watching the cornerbacks. Darius Washington, he stood out to me with his tackling and he was breaking up passes. Kevin Seymour, he made a great play, breaking up a third down pass. And then we had Kelly. He got beat a lot. Certain times you look like, who was that? And then you see it, I'm like, wow. But he made a great stop on a two-point conversion. Even though we lost the game, he still made a great stop at that point that still kept us having the lead at that point when the Commanders had scored. So I'm not saying that they were perfect, but I do think that these guys can help
Mm-hmm.
out our secondary, even with all of the injuries that we have. And with the luck that we have in our secondary, they're probably going to have to step in at some point this season and play a game or two or three. But my biggest concern right now for our defense is the defensive front. We talked about it before. A good front can mask a bad secondary. And right now, I have like zero faith in the front
Mm-hmm.
that to help the secondary. So I hope that we can get more help up front to help in the back. All right. So
Yeah,
the
I
next
agree.
topic.
Especially losing guys like Calais Campbell and Justin Houston.
Mhm.
We need guys that won't. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just piggybacking off what you said.
Oh no, that's fine.
Go ahead.
So the Ravens had won 24 games over a 7 year span, and last night that streak in the preseason ended. What do you think about the Ravens preseason win streak ending?
I was talking about this earlier with a couple like contractors on the job. Just when we were just talking sport. Honestly, who cares? I mean, I get it. It was something to look forward to. It was something to keep you engaged to watch the preseason. But all in all, like, who cares? Like, you think teams like the Eagles and Chiefs worrying about trying to win 24 in a preseason in a row, trying to win the Super
Hmm.
Bowl, man? That should be our focus. I mean, I had fans crying and acting like we just, like I said, like we just lost a playoff game. Like, I'm like, I'm about to say sometimes our fans should be the best and sometimes they can be the worst because, like, it's preseason. Don't fucking count. Like I said, it's
Hmm.
cool. It's something to look forward to get you watching the preseason games. But yeah, Shannon, we can give two shits about that. I'd rather go 0-4 in the preseason. I mean, 0-24 in preseason and have a couple of them bodies hanging up. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
in the blink of an eye. And I think anybody will say that. But like, so it's not that big of a deal. Like it is what it is. It was going to have to come to an end sooner or later. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
people blowing up proportion. How about tripped me up to more? I can't respect that. People say it don't mean anything. Like, John, come on, John. Come on, John. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go ahead. Go ahead. Floor's yours.
Okay. So I'll say this. Before the game yesterday, I made a post and said, I hope it ends. The reason that I hope it ends was because I'm tired of it being a talking point. Um, either on either side. Like haven't been a record or a team having to break the record. I also like to say that, records are made to be broken. So a record was made, the Ravens broke it, and they set a new record, right? So somebody else can come in and try to break the record, but if not, history is going to remain what it's going to be. Like we can't change what they keep, track of or stats of. And as weird as it is to all of us, it's like, okay, right? So yes, winning in the preseason is not a big deal. It's not at all. Like it's not anything that you're going to beat your chest about. You're not going to get a trophy. You're not going to hang a banner. It is what it is. However, I will say that I think it's a testament to our coaches, to the way that they can get the guys to still prepare to play this game. I don't think that anybody, a coach or player of any sort, any level, steps on their court or their field and want to lose a game. I don't care if it's preseason or regular season. Like I
That's
don't
fair.
think that you
That's a
get
fair. That's fair.
I don't think that you get, like, you're not going to be upset if you lose in the preseason because it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't affect you in any sort of way. But I don't believe that these guys, particularly the coaches and the players who are fighting for jobs, I don't believe that they go into these games and don't think that it's important, because winning is great, right? I always say losing is not a big deal. It's about the effort that you put forth in a loss or a win. And that's kind of what Harbaugh said last night. The issue with Harbaugh and his comments, it kind of contradicts something that he said in like 2016, right? Because somebody had posted the quotes on Twitter. And in 2016, he was saying, it doesn't matter. Preseason wins don't matter, XYZ, right?
Right.
But I think that once you get in the, like when you like reach something that you probably thought you weren't going to reach, and then you add more to it, so now you have this record that nobody has. It kind of made him have to sit back and admit that, yeah, it was important. It was this is important for all the reasons that he said. I mean, people are trying to get jobs, whether you're making a Ravens or you're putting film up there for another team. These games matter to those guys. Does it matter to our starters? No. Like we see that, this is what I was trying to tell fans in general, on people, our fans and people who was like laughing, like, oh, it's not nothing serious. You had, like, we're a team that we don't play our starters often. We haven't in a couple of years. Like in the preseason, you're not going to see many of our starters, right? So you go into these games like, I don't expect to win. Like I don't, when you're telling me the starters are not playing, I'm not thinking you're going to go win a game. Like at this point, you would expect the other team to win. You look at the Commanders yesterday; they played their starters for the whole first half, basically on offense. I don't really know who was playing on defense, but I was paying attention to them offensively. Their starters played majority of the first half. The Ravens aren't doing something. We're not doing that. We used to, like, the third preseason game used to be the game that all the starters played majority, but it's changed now. They're no longer doing that. So you want the Ravens or the Ravens fans to apologize for winning in the preseason when we're playing our freaking barely our second stringers and it's third and fourth stringers or guys that might not even be on the team. So that's why I say it's a testament to the coaches, because these guys still come and prepare like they want to win a game. And they won 24 games in a row. And that's not something that probably, it might not be done again. Of course, everybody's going to downplay it and say, I don't care about that. Nobody wants to attain that record. That is until you're in a position to reach the record. You think about the NBA scoring title, right? Who would have ever thought somebody would have caught Kareem, let alone passed Kareem? And then here comes LeBron James, right? So, and scoring is important, but I'm just using as an example of, look, it hadn't been done since 1950. I don't think the Ravens need to beat their chest about doing it, but I don't think that they need to apologize for it either. And you also can't have it both ways, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
the Commanders, they were trying to downplay it all week, acting as if it didn't matter to them. I think they went into that game wanting to win it. And when the game was over, we saw their reaction, right? So don't tell me that the preseason don't matter when you react like that to beating someone in the preseason. So either it matters or it doesn't. I just think it depends on who's doing what, but ultimately it matters because the guys playing these games are fighting for jobs. And like I said, the Ravens are on a team that's going to play their starters, so it's not like we putting our starters out there saying, "Hey, go win this game." If the second, third, and fourth, and people that might be working in the supermarket next week can go out there and beat you, that's your issue.
Right.
I'm giving props to our coaches. Like I said, testament to the coaches to get these guys prepared. That's how I feel about it.
That's a good way to look at it, Shannon. It is. It is. It's a good way to look at it. Like I said, it's definitely people definitely don't want to lose. It's more so important, like you said, for the guys that's trying to make the club. It's everything to
Hmm.
them because this is the only chance they got to showcase their talent. And now only being 3 games out of 4, the margin for error is much more slimmer.
Right.
So for those guys,
Exactly.
it's definitely important.
Right.
But all in the grand scheme of things, our biggest goal, we trying to go 4-0 in the tournament, or 3-0 in the
Of
tournament. That
course. Of
counts.
course.
So,
Of
but
course.
like I said, it was something that got people engaged and I'm gonna watch the preseason because we were winning. So it was good in that aspect. But the grand scheme of things,
Hmm.
who cares?
Yeah, like what? Right.
Uh,
All right. So the next topic, we talked about this behind the scenes last week as far as Ronald Darby signing, but I don't think we didn't talk about it really on a show last week. So what do
no,
you
not
think
like
about Jadeveon Clowney and Ronald Darby signing with the Ravens? What are your thoughts?
I'll start with Clowney first. Good moves. That moves that had to be made. Once Marlon Humphrey went down, you know you had to do something. Uh,
Hmm.
for one, we knew we had to needed another edge rusher. As much as you want to route the young guys, and you still can. You still need
Hmm.
veteran presence rushing the quarterback. It's just you ain't no way around it. Not too many
Hmm.
teams have won a Super Bowl with both of their edge rushers were first and second year players. Or even the Chiefs, Frank Clark. They had George Karlaftis, but like I said, they still had Frank Clark, a veteran. Chris Jones, veteran. So you still need veteran leadership, in your pass rush in your front seven. So, getting Clowney was big, man. Like I said, he lost Justin Houston. That's 9.5, 10 sacks gone. If Clowney can, he had 9 sacks in 2021. Last year, injuries, a lot of stuff going on. He didn't really like the scheme they ran. So if he can go back to that 2021 form and that Houston Texans form, yes, we got ourselves a steal. And I think with Chuck Clark coaching him, he's going to light a fire under his ass. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? So I think that'll get Clowney motivated. And he signed here for a reason. He said, man, who don't want to play here when Ray Lewis played here, Terrell Suggs, Ed Reed? He's like, come on, man. He's like, come on, man. Then the fans here are awesome. Then, this is a defensive town. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think it was a pretty good sign. Like I said, as long as he stay healthy, I think he's going to contribute a lot. He all look, excuse me, he was already grooming up the old way and a Jabo when he was there, talking to him, picking their brain,
Hmm. Hmm.
giving them little tendencies like how offensive linemen stand and what they're going if it's a run play they stand like this. So he already been teaching already. So it's a good sign. Ronald Darby, we needed it, like I said, because Marlon got hurt. Savvy vet. Obviously, they did their due diligence on his medical because remember he's coming off a grade 3 ACL tear, so obviously he's cleared because he was out there practicing. So yeah, good signing. Super Bowl champion with Philly. Uh, you know, good cover guy. And, he's gonna do his job, man. So I like it. I still would like to add another corner like William
Hmm.
Jackson III or Anthony Brown or whoever. Because like I say, you never had too many corners. But yeah, both of those signings, man, were A+ signs for me. Eric DeCosta, good job.
Yeah, I agree. With Clowney, I feel like it's lower risk, high reward. It's
Hmm.
1 year for 2.5 million. I believe it can get up to 6 million, which is probably like based on incentives. And obviously, if he reaches his incentives, that's a good thing for us. He's a guy that we talked about before when we talked about free agent pass rushers that we could bring in, and we've talked about wanting him. So I don't think that either of us felt the way about him coming in because he's a guy that was already on our radar. And he can come in and still be in rotation. Like we talked about wanting to have depth and being able to bring guys in and out. We're not asking you to come in and be the number one guy, but I do feel like he can still make an impact. I know a lot of people will say that he's not like good pass rushing, but he's good with stopping the run. And even if that's his impact
Yeah.
for us,
He's good at
then
people. See, people. Not to cut you off, Shan. I'm so sorry.
hmm go ahead.
Sacks. Everybody get caught up in sacks, and that's fine.
Hmm
That's the casual fan thinking. People that actually know the game, like me and you, quarterback pressures is just as good. Because if you can
hmm
get to the quarterback and hit him a second or two early before you want to throw the ball, that leads to fumbles, picks,
Right.
all that stuff like that. So, like I said, so I get it. Sacks are the sexy part. He do a lot of stuff that don't count in the stack sheet. Like he get a lot of quarterback
hmm
pressures, and those are just as good as sacks. But he would tell you, go
And that's what I was going to say as well. Like, as long as he can make an impact, I don't care about the sack number because, like you said, it's things you can do to disrupt the quarterback. So if you can do that, I'm good with that. Like I said, because that helps out the secondary, like we talked about in a previous segment. And as far as Ronald Darby, we talked about this as well. Like I'm a little concerned because of his ACL. It hasn't even been a year since he had that injury. But like you, I trust Eric DeCosta. I believe that they probably, they trust his medicals, they trust what their doctors are saying, and they trust what they saw. So as long as they were comfortable with it, I won't continue to bring up his injury. But I do think it was a good signing as well. Both good signings, both were needs, and like you said, it wouldn't hurt to bring another guy in on the back end. But it also wouldn't hurt if you can bring in another free agent up front. Like it doesn't hurt because like we keep saying, if your front is right, it'll mask a bad secondary. So I think both were
ahead.
great signings actually.
Got you. So before we get to your talk, what's up, Reg? Everybody, go subscribe to Reg's channel. Let him big with Big Reg. Him and Brandon Bazel, good content over there. What else did he say real quick before we go to the other topics? We wasn't ignoring you, Reg. We was just talking about that. The win mattered to the Commanders because they never won anything.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, the only thing that matters is progress of young talent. Go ahead, Shannon. I'm gonna go let you part of that first.
No, that's he's right. That's what we talked about. Well, that was the point of what I was saying. Like we could say preseason not important, but it's very important to certain people. And you can't help. We supposed to apologize for losing. You know what I mean? Like, I mean for winning. If you're winning games, there's nothing you can do about that. Like you say, yes, we would prefer this to be in a postseason, but okay, we did it for 7 years. I'm not going to apologize for it, and now
Right.
it's over, so we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, same. Like I said, it's definitely like you say. You're not gonna want to lose and tank or whatever. Just throw shade points. If you can win, you can win. It is what it is. But like I said,
Hmm
my thing is people getting bent out of shape about losing and Ray just acting like we just is the end of the world. That's my whole issue with this streak thing. Like I'm not. I would
And
never
see,
say, hey,
I might have missed. I actually saw more Commander fans like celebrate. I didn't see anybody upset, but if they are upset, it might be because who we lost to. You it was a rough week, and you know how Baltimore and DC is. So if anything, if it is people that feel that way, they probably just like, oh, why did it have to be them? You know.
but put like I'm gonna say this every time we lose to the Redskins or the Washington Commanders, Washington period, in some sort of form, we always go to the Super Bowl. So, it
I'm good
just
with that.
2000, 2012, it happened twice. It just didn't happen in 2016. That's the only year it didn't happen. But every time they beat us, we won it all. So hey, if that's the end result, beat us every year in the preseason.
Exactly.
All right, back to the program. Thank you, Reg, for that.
All
Go ahead, Sean.
right. So the next topic: should the Ravens carry three quarterbacks in 2013, and if so, which three?
This answer gonna be short and sweet. Lamar, Tyler Huntley, Anthony. I mean, I'm assuming practice squad. Josh Johnson, because you need Josh Johnson, savvy vet, like you say, sees moving the ball up and down the field. Todd Monken and loving him in his offense. Even Tyler Huntley looked good in his offense. Before he went down last week against Philly, and I've been hard on him because he's just still on my list with that, thinking he add, but he gonna have to really like win me back over with that. I just can't shake it. It's like a goddamn bad rash or something. Like, dang, oh my god. But yeah, but those three right there. Like, 'cause I just for the life of me didn't understand like what was he trying to accomplish? Like, but I'm gonna try my best to leave that in the past. I'm gonna try my best. I can't make promises, but I'm gonna try my best. But yeah, those three right there, Shannon. The floor is yours.
So you said Josh Johnson on a practice squad?
No, no, Anthony Brown on the practice squad. Josh Johnson too damn
Okay.
old. He can't even go on the practice
Okay.
squad.
Okay. 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 All right. So I have a however to this. Like I have an answer, but then I have a however. This is
Mm-hmm.
my thing. I need to make sure I understand this new rule with the third quarterback thing, because from what I was reading earlier and how I understood it was that if you put a quarterback, like if you only carry two on your roster, and then put the third quarterback on your practice squad, if you were to elevate okay, you can have three quarterbacks on your roster, but if you decide to put two on your roster and one on your practice squad, if you were to elevate that quarterback for game day, they can't be listed as quarterback number three on your roster.
Okay.
I believe that's how I understood it, right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, like I'm this is new to us. I don't know. This is a new rule they just added this off
Yeah.
season.
I
So
haven't even looked into it yet. I'll look into it as the season get closer, but
yeah. So from my understanding, you can carry three quarterbacks, right? This is why I was thinking about this question because so my answer is yes, but however, yes, because as much as people don't want to acknowledge it, Lamar has been hurt for the past two seasons, right?
that's true.
And then Tyler Huntley had to come in. Tyler Huntley also had an injury where he had to miss a game, and we had to have a backup come in to replace him. Tyler Huntley is also dealing with a hamstring injury right now, right?
Right.
So it's like we talk about the black cat running around in the secondary. It's a little black cat running around the quarterback room too, because those guys, for whatever reason, they've been hurt for the past couple of years. So for that reason, yes, I do think we should carry three quarterbacks. The only reason why I wasn't thinking about the practice squad was because the way I thought that I understood the new rule. So if we can put him on the practice squad, the third person on a practice squad,
Mm-hmm.
and still be able to elevate him if need be, then I'm all for it. But I don't really understand that rule too much. So maybe we would only do if we were to put one on the practice squad, we would only elevate him if let's God forbid if something happened to Lamar. So then when you're elevating him, he's number two and not number three. Look it up when we're done because I'm telling you that new rule is something about if you put them on a practice squad and elevate them, they can't be number three. But I do think
Hold
we
on,
should
Red.
carry three. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Shannon. I was just Red saw something. I just wanted to highlight. No, finish with saying what you were saying.
So yeah, so in that case, it made me say yes, we should carry three because I'm thinking about what has happened in the past. But if we can put them on a practice squad and elevate them if need be, I'm good with that. My, however, Kate was going to come in about other roster spots. Like I said earlier, Keaton Mitchell, he needs to make this team. Like I don't care what we have to do, he needs to make this team. So if it came down to like him and a third quarterback, I'm sorry, third quarterback, but you need to go on and we'll try to bring somebody in on the practice squad. How are we going to go about that? But I wouldn't want a third quarterback to take his spot.
Right.
And as far as the three quarterbacks, it would be Lamar, Huntley, and Brown for me as well. Like you mentioned with Josh Johnson, he's old. He is who he is at
No,
this point.
I said Josh Johnson is my third quarterback. That's why I wanted to make
Oh, I
sure.
thought that's what. Okay, I thought. Okay,
Yeah, I
my
made
bad.
a
Then I
mistake.
thought.
I'm
Oh,
saying
okay. I thought you. Okay,
Anthony
so
Brown on the practice squad. I got tongue tied.
who would you keep, Anthony or Josh?
Josh Johnson, without a question, because he's seen a lot. He's seen a lot. So it's like he might not got the athletic ability Anthony Brown got, but he not gonna get fooled by stuff like Anthony Brown to get.
Okay. So I'm going to opposite. I'm saying Anthony Brown. My reasoning is because Josh is old. He's been around for a while, and I feel like he is who he is at this point. He's been on 14 teams. I don't think he's going to make or break anything with the Ravens offense. And I feel like Lamar is going into his sixth year. Lamar is vet enough where he doesn't need another vet around him, like because they help each other. They talk, like he doesn't need that. I feel like Anthony Brown has shown Josh Johnson and Anthony Brown is like neither one. I'm not. If we kept one over the other, I'm not going to be like, oh my goodness, we should have kept this one. Like they're not. It's not like somebody is lights head of anybody else. Josh Johnson has been in the league for long. He should look like that, right? I guess I'm more or less looking at the opportunity for another. People don't like when we talk about this, but another black quarterback. Like I said, Josh Johnson, he's been around. He is who he is. I would like to see Anthony Brown learn more, get more opportunities, and he wouldn't get that. Well, who would know what would happen if
Mm-hmm.
he was to get cut by the Ravens? But my reason for picking him is just the fact that I don't feel like we need a vet. Josh Johnson is who he is, and I feel like Anthony could learn more being with this core of guys, including the quarterback coaches, to help him along in his career. Josh Johnson, To me, that would just be holding up a roster spot. And if he's on a practice squad, then that's just to me that's just him collecting checks. Like I said, 14 teams. He's 37
He
years
can't.
old.
He
Like
can't. He can't make. He can't. Yeah, he can't. He can't. Yeah, he can't get put there. He can't get put on the
yeah,
practice
so
squad.
I
So
wouldn't
he
I
make it
wouldn't
or
put
he
him on a
gets.
practice squad. Yeah, so we're gonna do the
You know what I'm
practice
saying?
squad thing, then
You
it's gonna
can't.
be Anthony
You
Brown.
must say you can't. No, no, what I'm saying is you can't. Even if you want, he's too old. I think the oldest you got to be is 26. After that,
Oh, well
if
then
they
he
on your
wouldn't be on there
roster,
then.
if not, yeah, he'll just be cut. Yeah,
I didn't even know it was
Rash
an
to the
age
third
limit.
has to be. Yeah, hell yeah, you can't handle 40-year-old guy on your practice squad. Hell no.
No, I really
It's
didn't know.
26.
I mean, my thing is, if you're in the league, I thought you could go on there.
Yeah, yeah, it used to be 24, but with COVID and all that, they bumped it to 26.
Oh, okay.
The third has to be on your 53-man roster, but not active to use emergency. Okay, Ray, thank you. I ain't know that. Let's get
Yeah,
to this last
it's a new
topic. Go
rule.
ahead,
It
Shannon.
was a new rule that came out. I wasn't too sure about the new rule, but I was like, whatever. All right, so the last topic is what are your thoughts on Todd Monken saying that he prefers to be in a booth calling games?
That give me PTSD a little bit because it's like, dang, Grand
Mm-hmm.
Roman did that shit, but it's like, I get it. Y'all guys are older, so y'all don't want to be running up and down the sideline. I understand it, but I feel like on the sideline you can engage with your players more. Actually getting up. I know in the booth you can see more top because it's all 22, but on the sideline, the intellect with Lamar, you actually seeing the look in his eyes, like, hey, what you think about this, versus just talking about it on the little phone, like you'll see the look
Mm-hmm.
in his face. Like that body language is important to me. I would rather him be on the sideline, but like I said, I get it. These guys are 60 and all that. They can't,
Mm-hmm.
but Harbaugh's 60, but he don't look like it, but I don't know. I'd rather him be on the sideline, but I get he got his reasons because he say all the noise and all that. I get it, but me personally, I'd rather him be on the sideline. But it's not a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. When I saw his comments, I was like, okay, but then I understand why he said it. I mean, like he said, it allows him to be more focused. Being in a booth, he's like he said, he was like, I'm human, so he's probably distracted down there and not being able to, do feeling like he can do his job as an offensive coordinator. But like you, I prefer them to be on the sideline. I just feel like I just feel like it's like you said, it's the players, it's the vibe you get with the players versus picking up the phone or however they communicate nowadays. Because I don't know if they still picking up the phone or using
Yeah,
their tablets. I have no idea.
whatever. Yeah,
But
it's just yeah.
but I'm like,
We're gonna have head coaches in the booth now. Next, like it's like,
yeah, I don't
that's
like
what.
it. I mean, I don't like it. I can
Yeah,
accept it, but I don't like it.
yeah. We're gonna have Harbaugh in the booth next, and just have players on the sideline by themselves. Like I don't know. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but great show, Shannon. Great show, great topics as usual. Everybody took care of the smoke detector thing for those who kept asking. It's been handled, so you don't got to worry about
I
it for the
gotta
time.
figure it out. I still feel like
Well,
I hear it, but I don't know.
yeah,
It might. I
yeah.
don't know
I
which
ain't
one.
even.
I have a couple of smoke detectors, so it could be anyone. I have
Damn,
to see.
you do got a big old house, so I feel you. But put like this, we'll get it taken care of one way or another.
Yeah,
Thank you, Rez. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Like I said, like and subscribe, follow the show and all the platforms and the links and the description. Have a wonderful Tuesday. We back Thursday. I'll have some pretty good topics. Day the mailman be on. We gonna talk a little bit about this upcoming preseason game, what to look forward to against Houston. But so tune in. Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure y'all trade talk Ravens all day, every day with your host Justin P and my MVP co-host Shannon Finch. Love you guys. See you Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. For those who don't know, we went up an hour. Give everybody more time to get home, get situated, and actually tune in. And it's been working. Everybody, the dialogue has been more. So yeah, we will be at 7 o'clock from now on. Anything you want to say, Shannon, before we wrap it up?
Um, I do. Dave is usually the one that's shouting out the Orioles. I just have something to say about the Orioles today. I want the Angelos family to either get their stuff together or sell the team. Baltimore has been waiting for this baseball team to be successful for years now. Like we suffered
40.
through enough.
No, to be exact, be exact, 40 years to be
Well,
exact.
40 as far as a championship, but just relevant, like to be a relevant winning baseball team. We've been waiting for a couple, but I think 7 years it's been since we made the playoffs. Last
Yeah.
year we got excited. You come into this season and you're meeting and exceeding expectations, and we have all of this drama going on. It scares me as a fan because it makes me wonder, like, do you guys not want to be here anymore? To have who was it? Was it John Angelos talking about not paying players? And if he does, you have to raise the price. Most Orioles fans, if you're from Baltimore, you're probably an Orioles fan and a Ravens fan, right? We know if the Ravens, when they're putting a successful team out, you're signing players, the price is going to go up. The price is going to go up, right? We don't care about that. People will pay for a winner. So it's crazy to me that in the mix of everything that's going on, you would take the time out of your day to say, I don't know how we're going to keep these guys together. We might have to raise the price. We don't want to hit, we want to keep all of these young guys if we can. Stop being cheap. If you're going to be cheap, go ahead and sell the team. Because right now you're just making it weird in the city, and we should be enjoying what's going on. Not you guys doing things to make us not even want to support the team because we don't want to support you. So please get it together, sign a deal, get something done so that we can feel like you guys want to be here and we can continue to support these young guys. We're just tired of the drama that has nothing to do with base. Like, this is a really good baseball team, and they don't have any drama. All the drama is coming from the front office. Just stop it. Stop it. That's all I ask.
Yeah, and the Angelos family. And I've been told you they need to sell the team, but that's no here or there. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Love y'all guys. We'll see y'all Thursday. Me and Maurice are gonna do a stream tomorrow, so tune in to keep that same energy podcast. We'll be going around 8 o'clock, talking about boxing, wrestling, a little bit of other stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Love y'all, and we are out.
Good night. Bye, Justin.
Bye, Shannon.